Tobirama Senju versus Minato Namikage. Who would win in this Hokage battle to the death? Welcome to the first episode of Battle of Legends, a new series on my channel. Today we're going to be pitting the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju, and the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikage, versus each other in an alive state to see who very much is the superior in this comparison. Well, who would win in an actual bout if they fought. So first I'm going to cover a little bit of background about the characters and give you a understanding of their abilities, and then I'm going to go into how I think the fight will go down and who will be the victor of the fight. So Tobirama Senju, he's the second Hokage. This man grew up in the Warring States period where basically no villages were formed. It was just a whole bunch of clans. Everybody was at war with other clans at all times, so he basically grew up a boy on the battlefield battling from a young age. He's the one who actually killed Madara's younger brother, Izuna Uchiha. He also founded the Konoha military police, Anbu Black Ops, and Chunin exams during his time as Hokage. He also created many staple jutsu that ninjas use today, such as the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and he created a lot of forbidden jutsu as well, such as the Edo Tensei. He was hailed as the fastest shinobi during his lifetime. He was also a gifted sensor type ninja, a water style release master, and he was very much a pragmatic type person, which means that he really didn't like speculation. He always gave you the real, what could happen, not really guessing what could happen. A more realistic type of person. Now if we go on to the ability of Tobirama Senju, he was touted as one of the most powerful shinobi of his era, and he was said to be on the same level as a living Madara Uchiha, which is like EMS Madara. Madara Uchiha himself even recognized Tobirama Senju's power. Tobirama was a ninja skilled in a variety of shinobi skills, and he was basically able to recognize skills that he even had no type of training in, so he's very observative. When we go on to like the specifics of his techniques in terms of ninjutsu, of course he was a extreme sensor type ninja. I mean, he could sense somebody from countries away, and even when he was blinded by like some mist or something, and he could tell what clan you were from just by sensing your chakra. As we all know, he was skilled with a sword, so his kenjutsu was on point, considering that he's the one who killed Izuna Uchiha, who was an equal to Madara with flying rods and slash, and he was able to go toe to toe with a Sharingan, well, Mangekyo Sharingan user with a sword, so he's definitely on a high level of kenjutsu. In terms of nature transformation, he uses all 5 basic chakra natures plus yin and yang release, and he, as we all know, he's recognized for this, a master of water style, because he could create water when there was no water around. So that's really a big accomplishment, and really he could flood the whole battlefield with water. He could swim underwater and bring down his opponent and drown them. He could use water defensive walls, offensive water dragons. He could spit water senbon needles out of his mouth. I mean, his water release is just extraordinary. And when it comes to like space-time ninjutsu, of course Tobirama had the Flying Thunder God technique, which he created, which is basically a summoning technique where the user summons himself or objects to different markings where he has put a marking at. So he was the person who created Flying Thunder God, and he used a technique with kunais and other materials to basically innovate the technique. He is also the one who created the now forbidden jutsu Edo Tensei, the impure world reincarnation, and he basically said he used it whenever he wanted to clear a map. So he also used that in conjunction with his never-ending multiplying explosive tags jutsu. So he would summon up Edo Tensei bodies and then use them to basically kamikaze people and keep on using the multiplying explosive tags to just create a never-ending explosion. So I mean, that technique was banned for a reason. When it comes to his brains, Tobirama was like a very calculative person in battle. He only very much striked his opponent when he was confident that it would land. And when he did it, he would do it with no mercy. Like, if he was gonna fucking kill you, he's gonna kill you. Also, a lot of his enemies say that he is known for launching surprise attacks on opponents who thought they've beaten him, but then he would come out of nowhere and basically surprise them with a surprise attack in that battle right then and there. It is also noted in my information source that in order to capitalize on every possible advantage, Tobirama pays attention to every aspect of a battle, analyzing opponent strategies and techniques, mechanics, and ultimately their weakness. So I mean, this dude is no joke. He's very analytical. He's a sensor. He gets everything in, and then at the moment he feels he can make that successful attack, he goes in merciless. Minato Namikage, also known as the fourth Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, the Yellow Flash, the Child of the Prophecy, whatever you want to call him. So Minato Namikaze was basically the student of Jiraiya, the legendary Sannin. He was known to be a natural prodigy ever since he was little. He's the creator of the Rasengan technique, which is basically like the highest tier of chakra control, if you could say. And he is also known for his performance in the Third Great Shinobi War, saving the leaf from the Nine Tails attack. He was hailed as the fastest shinobi in history. People say he was the fastest shinobi in history. And in terms of his person, he was a very respectful type person. He very much knew the reputation that he had in the other villages, but he respected his enemies nonetheless. And he was a very shrewd person who had very sharp judgment skills. When we go over to Minato's abilities, on that side, we get that he was noted to be one of the most powerful shinobi that ever lived. And also support to that would be during the Third Great Shinobi War. Enemies were given a order to flee on sight of the Yellow Flash. So once they saw him, they were told to run like shit. You do not want to cross his paths. Another supporting fact that he was a very strong shinobi was that he was able to save the Leaf Village when the Nine Tails attacked, which meant that he took down the masked man Obito Uchiha, who was using Kamui, which is a very confusing and very powerful technique, and he was still able to take down Obito. So that's another boosting fact that he was a very, very extraordinary shinobi. So in terms of the specifics when it comes to his basically powers, ninjutsu, shit like that, he was a very fast ninja due to the fact that he had Flying Thunder God, but also his natural speed was so immense that it was sometimes mistaken for Flying Thunder God. So that means his base speed, just speed in general, not with the technique Flying Thunder God, was so fast that people thought he was fucking teleporting. Now if that's not fast, I don't know what the fuck fast is. He was known to have very large chakra reserves. This man could wield hand seals with one hand, and they've said his fighting style revolved around speed and quickly taking down whoever his opponent was. So he was basically a speed based person. Going more down this information, Minato had he had a variety of different techniques. He had the ability to summon toads from Mount Moyabuku, or whatever the fuck that place was called. He was the creator of the Rasengan technique. He was skilled in barrier ninjutsu, and he's proficient in fire, wind, lightning, and yin and yang chakra. He was a master of the second Hokage's technique, the Flying Thunder God. He basically expanded on that technique and took it to a whole nother level, which even Tobirama told him that your Flying Thunder God is on a completely was on a different level than mine. You really increased the proficiency of the technique. So the creator himself told Minato that you've done well with the technique. Considering that his wife was Kushina Uzumaki, Minato learned a variety of Uzumaki sealing jutsu from Kushina, and a lot of the ones you might recognize are the 8 trigram sealing technique, which is the seal that was on Naruto's stomach, and the dead demon consuming seal, which is the Reaper death seal. And also he can use the contract seal, which seals a contract between someone and a one of their summons, so he can seal the contract between them. He also knew how to use senjutsu, sage powers, but he himself said that it's basically useless because he cannot maintain it, and he himself said, of course, I don't use it because it's useless. Again, going back to his person, Minato is a very intelligent person. He could correctly figure out the mechanics behind someone's ability that he didn't know, and then he could basically work around that and plan in between the strengths and weaknesses in order to basically go in for that attack that he felt was correctly placed after he observed all the mechanics of the technique. This was shown when he fought Masked Man Obito, not knowing a single fucking thing about Kamui, but he ended up figuring it out to be able to defeat Obito in that battle. And keep in mind that it took the Shinobi allied force a while to figure out how Obito's Kamui worked, but Minato figured it out in a matter of minutes, basically. So with all that information just said, we're putting the second Hokage versus the fourth Hokage in a battle to the death. Who would win? Now, a lot of you would say they're a lot alike. Yeah, we noticed they both use Flying Thunder God technique. They're both very fast shinobi, so it's pretty. People would pretty much think it was gonna be a all-speed battle. Whoever could mark the other person first with Flying Thunder God technique, and that would basically be the end of the match. I really think that neither of them would let themselves get marked by the other's Flying Thunder God, but Minato in this situation, in a battle of speed, Minato would, from looking from the outside, not really in detail, Minato would basically win, because even Tobirama said it, you're faster than me naturally, and you're a better user of the Flying Thunder God technique. So with that being said, people would say Minato will win hands down. He could throw an array of the Thunder God kunai that he has all over the area, and he could just teleport between those, because Tobirama just uses a regular kunai and Minato actually uses specially made kunai that he scatters around the battlefield, that he could just hop all over the place and take down Tobirama. Well, the thing is, if that were to happen, I feel like Tobirama has such a variety of techniques other than Flying Thunder God, because if you think about it, Minato is based off of speed, flying around with the Flying Thunder God and the Rasengan technique. And with that being said, he would use those kunais a lot to basically help him take down Tobirama. So I have a feeling that Tobirama will be using water style very early in the battle, because of Minato marking the place all up with the Flying Thunder God kunais. I think that Tobirama will go for a water style shockwave, which would flood the whole area with water and basically wash away all the kunais. I mean, if the kunais are underwater, I mean, because they're gonna sink if they go underwater. The kunais are underwater. You're not really going to be able to use them correctly if they're not on basically straight land. So him using the water style will basically put them on a water playing field, and with that he could just start creating a whole bunch of water shit, and then he could like go underneath the water, drown Minato. I mean, the possibilities just are not in his favor once you introduce that water style. But even though that will happen, people say, oh, the one thing I thought about Minato could counter that is Minato would summon Gamabunta, the frog, and he can be on water. He's fucking a beast. I'm saying Tobirama has a lot of jutsu like infinite darkness jutsu, He has Edo Tensei. I mean, he could teleport back, grab an Uchiha real quick, and then use Edo Tensei to use them as a fucking pawn. He could come right back, start using the never-ending explosive tag, multiply jutsu. I mean, in terms of them, I just think that Minato is faster, but technicality wise, he could not match up with Tobirama, because even in the fourth Great Shinobi War, we saw Minato lose both of his arms, and Tobirama only got pinned down when Madara himself actually pinned him down. Like versus Obito, Tobirama didn't take that many L's. Like he always came back with something to answer. When he got sliced in half, he just started blowing up shit. Like he's a very technical person, and I think that him being the inventor of the Flying Thunder God technique, he could even know some like hidden tricks, but I'm not really gonna say that because it was never shown, so I'm not gonna bring in information that's really speculated information. But I think that with jutsus like Infinite Darkness, the water style mastery, that he can just change the whole flow of the battle with all that water, and just his sheer more knowledge in combat, since he was on Madara's level. Even the fourth Hokage got freaked out by the second Hokage's presence when they were all revived in the Uchiha chamber with Orochimaru. When the second lifted up one of his fingers, everybody got scared as fuck, because they were like, oh shit, this dude's presence is fucking huge. So I mean, even the fourth recognized that. So I think that Minato would definitely, it would be a close battle, but in the end, Tobirama's just more battle hardened than Minato in terms of bringing out a lot of diversity in the battle to be able to counter whatever Minato's doing. Because after a while, when you're using Flying Thunder God and Rasengan the whole time, your opponent's gonna figure out a way to counter that, and Tobirama would use his array of jutsu to actually get that done. So actually, I want to hear your opinion. I've left a straw poll down in the description. Who do you think would win this Hokage battle to the death? Leave that down in the straw poll, vote for yourself, and put down in the comments your arguments on who you think would win in this battle. Thank you guys for watching. That was the first episode of Battle of Legends. I'll see you guys later.